Hola, welcome to Fan for Spanish Materials. Today's video is about the conclusions about the verb to be, ser, estar. This could be probably one of the most important videos you are gonna see um, because the verb to be is kind of tricky. Many people, many students, they get frustrated because they don't nail the verb. They don't know how to use it correctly. But here, everything is gonna be condensed, and you're gonna find the answers and how to use it. So let's start with the verb ser, yeah, and we're gonna pretty much like condense all this information, everything we learned in the level survive. Uh, we're gonna show it here as well. So the verb ser works in just three situations. The first one is when we talk about permanent conditions. So permanent conditions are things that don't change much. And people sometimes tell me, but what is permanent? Forever? No, permanent is not forever. Uh, it's things that could change, but in a long run, like in long term, it's not. These are things that are not changing constantly. So, for example, physical characteristics like if to be tall, to be fat, to be I don't know, to be intelligent, or that if a table is big, or the colors, these features don't change constantly. By saying constantly is that they they change like from one state to another. For example, is to be tall, you're not tall today, tomorrow you're a dwarf, and then you're tall again after 1 week. That doesn't happen. Yeah. Colors, if they change constantly, you don't use this verb ser, you use estar. But many things are black or white or yellow or red or whatever, green, and they don't change that color. So objects, for instance, many objects have a color and they are always that color. The color is not changing. Yeah. So these are permanent conditions. And yeah, so these are normally physical characteristics or personality features, uh, are things that don't change constantly. S- are things that stay the same, they remain exactly the same, they don't change. So yeah, this is pretty much like the main use of the verb ser. And there are two little ones here. One is to identify and define. Well, identify is when we say, uh, my name is, yeah, like among all of the names, mine is this one. Yeah. uh, my dog is that one. Among all of the dogs, my dog is that one. Yeah. And whatever else, whatever you want to say that you identify, my friend is that one. That also happens in English, like is, to identify. So yeah, and define is what we do with our children when we have children, or uh, like children ask us like, what is that? And you have to say, yeah, what is a dog? Un perro es un animal, blah 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 blah. What is a tree? Un árbol es a plant, big, and what is a cloud? Una nube es, you know, whatever the definition of things are. You're gonna do it with the verb ser. Yeah. Uh, and yeah, and the other small one is location of events. So events are concerts, meetings, uh, or moments also are events, and where they happen. When you say it happened or is there, like the concert is at the stadium, so you say, el concierto es en el estadio, because these are events, and events are not physical things. Events are not tangible. Events are like, events take place in a place actually, but the event itself is uh, is just treated as a thing that for the location we are going to use the verb ser. Yeah. So a meeting, for instance, it's not a place, it's an event. So we say la reunión es en la oficina, the meeting is at the office. For instance, a birthday, that's an event. It's not a place, it's an event. So el cumpleaños será en la casa de mi amigo. It's like, oh, el cumpleaños va a ser en la casa de Rodrigo. So the birthday is going to be at Rodrigo's place. So yeah, for location of events, you will always use the verb ser. Yeah, that will be it. So these three things, the main one, the one you're going to use 90% of the times, is going to be this one, permanent conditions. And sometimes you have to identify or define or talk about the location of events. So you're going to use these ones too. Okay, let's have a look at the verb estar. The verb estar, um, well, it has more, it's pretty much uh, temporary conditions is the main one, but also works for other things. Uh, the main two things are temporary conditions and location of things, and also positions and personal experience. So, our four things, yeah. Um, the main ones are these two, um, like temporary conditions as well as location of things. So, temporary conditions now are things that are changing. Sometimes people ask me about how often, and I will say, well, it's kind of like regularly, kind of like things that like are in one state, and then they are in a different state, and they can come back to it. So it could be days or even weeks, right? Or months, but it's something that is changing constantly, and sometimes it has it fluctuates, the the behavior. Yeah. um it doesn't stay in in one state, and then after some time stays in another state and remains like that. No, it's normally things that uh, change constantly and fluctuates. They can change and then come back to the original state. So let's talk about, like, you know emotions. This happens all the time. To be happy, you're not always happy, you're not always sad, you're not always nervous, you're not always quiet, like in peace or excited. So these things like are fluctuating. You're happy, and later you might feel sad, but then after a few hours you might feel happy again. So they are like oscillating, and that's why they are called temporary conditions, because they are changing constantly. Also physical conditions like health. If you're ill, right? So you're not ill all the time. I mean, even if you're an ill person, yeah, like sometimes you feel better, sometimes you feel worse. So this is changing constantly. So you can feel ill, then you might feel well, or like, yeah, estar bien, yeah, is to feel well, yeah, to be, to be good, to feel good. Tired, for instance, yeah, you're not tired all the time unless you have a condition, but um, to be tired is something that's changing constantly, yeah. Also, not just physical conditions for people, but also for objects. Let's say our house. uh, Sometimes my house is tidied up, is organized, right? But it's not all the time organized, because sometimes I move objects around and then it starts looking messy. So it's not all the time organized, right? Or it's not all the time disorganized either. So are things that are changing constantly. Or yeah, sometimes it's clean, sometimes it isn't. So yeah, but my house. So these are things that are changing constantly. But if I say my house is big, it's gonna be big all the time. So that's different, right? That's a permanent condition. Also, mental conditions like to be crazy, right? Well, I mean, there are people that are crazy forever. So, but sometimes you say I'm crazy, like in the sense like, okay, I'm like, I'm kind of disoriented or not very concentrated or doing stuff that doesn't make any sense. But those are like moments, right? Or confused, for instance. You're not confused all the time, or concentrated. Yeah, you're not concentrated 24/7, uh, drunk, for instance. These are like these mental conditions also are physical, right? Because it's part of the healthy the health of your body. So, but in general, like we can go for weather now here, like, you know there are things in weather that that are conditions that are completely temporary. Yeah. So, when it's cloudy, for instance, you say está nublado, and you use the verb estar because uh, to be cloudy is it's not a constant thing. It's like it's changing. It's not permanent. It's changing constantly. Yeah. So that's the main use of the verb estar, uh, as well as location of things. So before, for the verb ser, we said that location of events was for the verb ser. Yeah, that's correct. But for the rest of the things, you're going to use the verb estar. By things, I mean people, places, things, whatever, anything. So, mi hermano está en la casa. My brother is at home. Is a person, people. Yo estoy aquí. I am here. El estadio está lejos. Places. Yeah. El estadio. Mi escuela está ahí. My school is so right there. El árbol. Things. El árbol está en la montaña. The tree is on the mountain. El café está atrás. The coffee is behind. So yeah, pretty much location of things, you use the verb estar. Unless it's an event, you use the verb ser. Let's have a look at the next two, which are important, but they're important, but they're not as important as these two here, because these two here we use 90 more than 90% of the times. Like, it's uh, it's more common to use them. But now let's talk about positions, right? So one thing is location, another thing is the position. What is the position of the thing? So if you say acostado, yeah, which is to lay down, like I'm laying down, I'm sitting down. Sentado, I'm kneeling, when you're on your knees. I'm standing up. De pie, so estoy de pie, estoy arrodillado, estoy sentado, estoy acostado. Or, for positions, you use the verb estar. Yeah. um Not just people, also objects. Sometimes, uh, uh yeah, like there are objects that you say, yeah, it's laying down, right? An object stand can be also like standing up, kind of thing. So that also happens with objects. So positions, yeah. And personal experience, we talked about this before. We use the verb estar when you are talking about things that were an experience. Yeah. And things you tried or things you experienced in general, events you experienced, anything that you experienced by trying it or being there, then you're going to use the verb estar to talk about how it was or how it is. Yeah. So if you eat a soup and you try it, you say the soup is good. La sopa está buena. Yeah. So, if you went for a concert, and that's an experience, and if you want to say the concert was good, so el concierto estuvo bueno. So I'm using past tense with verb estar. Why? Because it was your experience. If it's not your experience, then you're going to start defining things, which is different. Yeah. Like, for example, a tree. Well, let's use another example. Let's say the soup. And we talked about the soup before. If you say la sopa es buena, es la sopa es roja, es grande. So you're like giving a definition of the soup, right? Like la sopa es roja, the soup is red, the soup is big. Um, oh, la sopa está caliente. That's a temporary condition. The soup is hot. The soup is hot. But then, if you want to talk about your experience, if you want to say the soup is good because you tried it and you liked it and it was good, then you're gonna say la sopa estuvo buena. The soup was good. Or la sopa está buena if you're still eating it. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much how you use the verb estar for personal experiences. Um, so um, let's have a look at something important also. So with this, we already talked about the verb is ser, right? Three main things here. Yeah. One, two, three. We said that this one is the main one, but there are these other two that are also not as important, but they are worth using it properly. And verb estar has four main things. Yeah, temporary conditions, locations, and things. They are the two main ones. And we have also positions and personal experiences. They are secondary, but they're still like worth learning them very well. Now for the something that is really important is how to use the adjectives good and bad for the verbs to be, ser and estar. And this is really difficult. People make lots of mistakes here, which is normal because come on, it's like you have so many options here, right? To say in English, you just say it's good or bad, but in Spanish, you have so many combinations, and the meanings are different. So let's we already talked about this a few episodes, but I want to explain it again because it's really important to when you say it's good or it's bad, you have to know what you mean. And if you know what you have to know what to use according to what you mean. Yeah. So there are three main things, yeah, that work: this one, and this one. The one that doesn't work is this one here. Es bien, es mal. You don't say that. This is completely wrong. Never say that. Yeah. But yeah, this is wrong. Es bien, es mal. What you can use is está bueno, está malo, está bien, está mal, o es bueno, es malo. That's what you can use. So, está bueno, está malo is when you're talking about actually experiences. Yeah, la sopa está buena. You don't say la sopa es buena. That means like the soup is like a good person kind of thing. I don't know, like he has a good values or stuff like that. So, but no, you use está buena because you tried it, right? It's your experience. Um, and also, well, you use bueno malo, which is different from bien mal. So here, bueno, malo are more adjectives, yeah, and bien, mal are more like adverbs. But anyways, it doesn't matter if you don't really know what it means. Pretty much, bueno and malo is like kind of good and bad. Bien, mal is like well and badly. But yeah, it doesn't necessarily work like that. So, but anyway, so if it's experiences, please use bueno and malo. Okay. Um, Está bien, está mal. Here you're talking about more like the temporary condition. Yeah. So it's good or it's bad. So we talked about health, we talked about physical conditions, we talked about anything that is temporary, things that are changing constantly, fluctuating, isolating, change conditions that change, yeah, constantly. And for the verb ser, you can only use bueno and malo. And this is just for permanent conditions. All right. So it's good, is good all the time. Is bad all the time. That's it. Yeah. Uh, the restaurant, if there is a restaurant that is bad, it's all the time bad. You say el restaurante es muy malo. Yeah. The restaurant is very bad. Yeah. But if the restaurant is the food, I don't know, let's talk about the food is good today, or like you say, la comida está buena here. You tried it. Yeah, the food is good today. Yeah. And if the restaurant is in good conditions, let's say it's making money, you say el restaurante está bien. So it's temporary condition. Sometimes the restaurant doesn't make much money. You say el restaurante está mal. No está dando dinero. It's not giving money. So that's one of the main videos in this level, because it explains in detail how you should use the verb to be in Spanish. And here you have all the information condensed in one video. I hope you liked it, you enjoyed it. How to use it, how to learn. I mean, how to practice this is a challenging thing, to be honest with you. Our in our experience of teaching for so many years is that you have to explore both verbs ser and estar, and you have to use every single every single like I think like if you can practice the verb ser and estar, and be conscious, be aware of every single thing you're doing. You have to be aware if it's a permanent condition. You have to be aware if you're defining something. You have to be aware if the location you're talking is an event, not a place. So it takes concentration, and our recommendation is to practice all these things just in present tense for a year or so. Have tons of conversations in present tense and explore the verb ser estar until you feel really comfortable. And this is going to take months. It's going to take a long time. This is not going to happen fast. Don't trust people telling you you're going to be fluent in 1 month or even 3 months or 6 months. That never happens. They can just say short sentences very well, but they don't know in depth how to use things properly. To nail this, you have to be very aware of these things and use them a lot of times, a lot of repetitions until you feel really comfortable with it. Once you are really comfortable with present tense, then you're going to use it in the rest of the tenses you learn in the whole journey. So you're going to put it for the past tense, for instance, past simple, which is the most versatile tense. And then you're going to put it in the present perfect. And then you're going to put it in the imperfect past tense that we're going to talk about that later as well, and so on. So you can, uh, if you by doing so, you're going to sound like a local. It's going to be beautiful. Your Spanish is going to sound very nicely. But trust me, you got to be patient because this is a big thing, and you have to first do it in present tense for several months, even a year, present tense, and then you can escalate it into past tense and the rest of the tenses we learn here. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Watch it as many times as you need to watch it to practice and review everything, and see you in the next one. Hasta luego. Bye bye. Ciao ciao.